Hey friends, welcome. We are on week 1 of our no spend challenge, and stick around to the end of the video to see how much we actually spent this week. Okay, so it is January 1st. We are starting our no spend January, and we are running low on bread, so we are going to make some sandwich bread. I have a recipe that I got online that I usually use, and gonna go ahead and make some bread for the week. So I'm gonna have this recipe for the bread linked in the description below, but the first step is to take your warm water and your yeast and get that till it's nice and frothy. And then I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of salt and 2 cups of milk. And then we're going to add 8 cups of bread flour, and then you can do 6 tablespoons of honey or sugar, whichever you'd like. And then we're going to go ahead and mix all that in a stand mixer. And then it is a process to make bread, but it is so worth it. So this makes 2 loaves of bread. So I'm just gonna let this mix up here, and then it's gotta sit for a while till you get your first rise. So meanwhile that is rising, I am taking some old bread that I had. It's been in the refrigerator for a little while, and I'm going to make a French toast breakfast bake for the next morning. So I am just cutting up this bread in little pieces, and again I will have this recipe linked in the description below. But I am just taking, I had about 1/4 of a loaf left, and just cutting it all up, and again just adding it to that bowl. And this is a great breakfast to make for a make-ahead breakfast, or if you just need to use up some old bread. Part of this no spend month for us is using what we have, and I was just using up ingredients that we have in our refrigerator or our pantry to make new meals. My mom calls this like the depression cooking, where you are using every ounce of food that you have, every piece of leftover, to make a meal, which I think is super cool to be able to not have as much waste. So now I'm going to go ahead and add 2 cups of milk to this bread. And then I'm adding 6 eggs, and then I added some heavy cream to that, about 1 cup of that. And then I'm going to mix that all together. And I'm also adding about 1 tablespoon of vanilla. You can kind of do that to taste. And then we're going to pour that over top of the bread mixture, and then let it sit in the fridge overnight. So again, I'm just going to pop this in the fridge overnight, and then I will bake that in the morning. But in the meantime, I had baked the sandwich bread. So I have 2 loaves here ready to go. And I only go through about a loaf of bread a week, maybe in 5 days. So I'm going to put them in plastic bags. I'm going to put one in the freezer for the meantime, and then keep the other one just in our refrigerator so it stays fresh. So early on in our marriage, I always made such a big deal about cooking. I wanted to have these elaborate meals. And over time, we've been married 14 years, I have learned that cooking is actually pretty simple. As long as you have a good base down, then it is easy to make meals from scratch. Okay, so now it's the next morning. I'm just adding some cinnamon on top, and I'm going to add some brown sugar, and then I'm going to go ahead and place this in the oven for about 25 minutes until it's nice and bubbly. And in the meantime, I'm going to make my morning coffee. I'm going to add my collagen into my coffee, and my morning coffee is my favorite part of the day. I love to wake up before everybody else. But there is our beautiful French toast casserole, and it went perfect with the coffee. So for lunch on this first day of the No Spend Challenge, we had leftovers from the night before, but I am going to go ahead and prep some dinner. Again, super easy meal. I'm just taking what we have here on hand, and I've just got a pound of ground beef that I'm going to brown in our cast iron skillet over the oven. So I kind of made this meal up on my own. It is a ground beef noodle cheese bake, I guess you could call it. I am just going to go ahead and take some chopped up onions, and saute that with the ground beef. Then I went ahead and took some garlic, added in about 3 cloves of garlic, and again, just kind of let this simmer. Then I'm going to add some oregano seasoning on top. I just kind of eyeballed it, and then I'm going to add some salt and pepper as well. I also added a little dash of garlic powder to that mixture, and then I'm going to give it a good stir. And then we're going to add in 2 cups of elbow macaroni noodles or whatever you've got on hand. And we're going to let that kind of mix in together. We're going to add about a tablespoon of tomato paste as well. Okay, and then after adding that tomato paste, we are going to give it another little stir. And then we're going to add in about 2 cups of beef broth. I guess you could use vegetable broth too, but beef broth gave it a nice flavor. And then I'm going to add about a cup of heavy cream. And again, give that a nice little mix. And we're going to let that cook till the noodles are soft. So I'm going to add in a little bit of sour cream, shelf cooking at its finest. I wanted to add cottage cheese, but my cottage cheese was no good. So sour cream will work. And then I'm just going to kind of eyeball some cheddar cheese on top there. And again, give it a nice mix until everything is melted together. This meal was a big hit for my family. My kids loved it. We ate it for leftovers the next day. And I love sauerkraut. I'm the only one in my family that loves it. And I had some leftovers, so I had it with my meal. So on day 3, we did have to go to Aldi's to do some grocery shopping. We needed milk and fruits and vegetables and some other things. So here we are shopping at Aldi's, and I'll show you everything we got here soon. Okay, so we are on day 3 of our no spend January, except for I had to stock the fridge a little bit for the weekend. I work this weekend. I work night shift Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So getting some things set up, and then the kids go back to school on Monday. So I had to get a couple things for them. But we went to Aldi's. We spent about $88, and I'm gonna show you everything we got. Okay, so I just got some tomatoes to make in a salad. We're gonna do chicken soup tonight. So I got some celery. I'm gonna do deer steaks from our deep freezer. So I figured sugar snap peas can go with that. We needed more carrots, ice cream, snacks for the kids. We got some orange juice, biscuits, some ranch dressing. We needed some more of that. Some apples. They had this big box of 6. I usually buy that at Sam's Club, but I did not buy it last time we were there. I think this was like $8 for these 6 boxes. I thought that was a pretty good deal. We got the Yo Crunch for the kids. I do plan to make my own yogurt here soon, but that was just a little extra snack for their lunches. Got some turkey breast, deli meat. We're gonna do batch prep some chicken today, and we're gonna use some for the chicken soup tonight, and then we're gonna use it to make barbecue chicken pizza. Got some pork sausage to make a casserole for breakfast. We're gonna do grilled cheese and tomato soup one day. We're gonna do chili another day next week. I got some mozzarella cheese for our pizzas. I needed to restock on some avocado oil. Some little Lunchables here for the kids for school. I got some liquid egg whites. I like to add this to my breakfast just to add a little extra protein and just a little bit more bulk to my breakfasts. Got some more heavy cream, and then a 10-pound bag of potatoes. And I'll keep these downstairs in our cellar, and they should last for quite a while. So yeah, that was about $88 for all of that. Oh, and I got a thing of milk, but that's out in our outside fridge. Okay, so now we are on day 4, and I'm going to go ahead and take some chicken breasts from a chicken we butchered, and I'm just going to kind of bulk prep these, and I am going to season them a little bit, then put them in the oven and cook them for about 25 minutes, and then shred them, and I'm going to use that chicken breast for 2 meals. So the first meal we're going to make out of it is a creamy chicken soup. And then the second meal, the next day, we are going to go ahead and make a barbecue chicken pizza. So I am just peeling these carrots into a bag because we have a rabbit and I like to give her the peels from the carrots. And then I am going to go ahead and get all the veggies prepped for this creamy chicken soup. Again, I will have this recipe linked in the description below. It came out so good and was just like a comforting soup on a cold day because it's gotten really cold here in Ohio. You can see me storing some of these vegetable cuttings in a Ziploc bag. I will be making broth here soon, so I am going to use that extra vegetables to help render some chicken stock. I love how shelf cooking can make you just be creative with your meals and just kind of give you some freedom to kind of plan things out and then see how you can reuse it for different recipes. So after sauteing some of that olive oil and garlic, I'm adding in all the vegetables and I'm going to saute them until they are nice and soft. Then I'm going to go ahead and add some of the chicken that I cooked earlier and add it to that pot. And then I'm going to go ahead and add about 6 cups of chicken broth to this. And then 1 cup of heavy cream. If you want to make it a little creamier, you can add more. And I'm going to add some cubes of cream cheese. I think it was about 6 ounces I used. And then we're just going to stir that together until everything melts and blends well. So after all that blends together, I'm going to go ahead and add in a cup of noodles. I used whatever noodles I had left over again, just trying to use up what we have in the pantry. The soup came out so good and it was creamy and just nice and hearty for a cold winter night. And we went ahead and served that with some of our fresh homemade bread. So now it's the next day and I'm going to use some of that chicken that we had left over, add some barbecue sauce that we've had here in our pantry for a little while, and we are going to make some barbecue chicken pizzas. So I just sliced up some red onion and now I'm cutting up some mozzarella that I had bought from Aldi's, and I'm going to go ahead and put some barbecue sauce on these little pizza crusts and then spread the chicken and then put the onions and the mozzarella on. This recipe was so easy to make and it's a good way to get in a little extra protein. This chicken that I'm using is from one of the chickens that we butchered. We butchered 9 chickens this year, and there's just something about eating from something that you have grown and harvested yourself, whether it's meat or from your garden. It just makes it taste that much better. Something I've learned over the years and being a busy working mom is that dinners don't need to be complicated. You can just put, something simple down with just some raw veggies, and there you have a healthy, balanced meal. Okay, so we are done with dinner and I am packing up my lunch. I'm getting ready to go into work. I work night shift this weekend, so I like to pack my lunches. That way I'm not spending money while making money. And of course, I always pack my home brewed coffee. So I didn't film anything on this Sunday morning. My husband took care of making breakfast for the kids while I went to bed, but he is making deer steaks and mashed potatoes with sugar snap peas for dinner tonight. So the deer steaks were amazing. We just saute them in some butter on the stove and they come out nice and tender, and it's even better when you don't have to cook it. Okay, so it's the next morning and the kids had a snow day, so I am going to go ahead and just make some breakfast. We are going to make some yogurt parfaits and some toast with our homemade bread. The granola that I'm using is something that I made last week and just store in an airtight container in our pantry, but this was a super simple breakfast, and then I went ahead and added some sliced apples to it as well.
Truth can be a bitter pill, but it'll do you right and set you free the way you.
So I bought this jam from somebody local, and it is a blueberry lemonade jam. And as I mentioned earlier, one of my goals for this year is to start to learn how to can jams and produce more fruit at our farm this year. So that is a goal I have, but one of my favorite things for breakfast is just toast with a jam on it. Okay, after breakfast, I went ahead and took a nap since I don't work again tonight, so I got to flip back to a normal schedule. But when I woke up, I had my trusty cup of coffee and then went ahead and went through our budget on YNAB and just was kind of calculating how much we spent this week. So now I'm just filling in our no spend tracker for our first week, and I'd say we did pretty good. We did not spend too much money, and we just had 2 spending days, which we knew were going to happen. So I think we did a great job so far in this challenge. Something we did do this week for fun without spending any money is we went to the library. My daughter got some books on horses, and I got this self-sufficiency book, and it had lots of great pictures and ideas to get me started planning for this summer coming up. Okay, so we are ending the first week of our no spend challenge. We just did this from New Year's Day until Sunday the 5th. I am going to go ahead and go through our budget of what we usually spent, an average that we spent on a month, and then I will show you kind of what we spent so far this week, our first week of this no spend challenge. So I use YNAB to budget. It keeps a very detailed record of everything that we spend money on. I enter things in it pretty much every day, so that way we know what we're spending. But looking back here, we averaged monthly for groceries about $1,450. So I'm going to go ahead and take that and just calculate that out per week. So if we were grocery shopping weekly, which a lot of times we didn't do, we did Sam's Club trips, larger grocery trips. But anyways, that came up to about $362.50 a week on groceries. So looking at our no spend tracker that I've made here, this week we had to spend, on day 2 of our no spend week, I had to spend $40 at Rural King. We have a small horse boarding stable, and we have 9 horses in there, and our sawdust supplier was low on sawdust and couldn't get us a delivery. So I had to buy shavings for the horses. So I did spend $40 on that. And then we went to Aldi's on day 3 and spent $88 on groceries, which I had included in this video. Essentials like milk. I don't remember what else. We bought a couple little freezer things for the kids for school since they were supposed to go back to school this coming week. So we spent $88 at Aldi's. So I just kind of rounded it up for easy math. So that was about $128 on groceries this week. And we cooked everything else from home, what we had in our pantry, what we had in scratch here in the kitchen. I made my own bread, and we did not eat out at all this week. So we are going to be starting into week number 2, and that's going to start today on January 6th, and we're going to go all the way through the following Sunday for this week, so it's a little longer week. But we do have a plan to go to an RV show this weekend. We pre-purchased the tickets already for that, and then we have gift cards from Christmas that we're going to use for eating out. Still undecided if we're going to stay at a hotel when we go. We're kind of thinking about making it a little trip since we don't have anything planned for the winter, but depending upon sports schedule, we might not stay at a hotel. We'll see. And if we do stay at the hotel, I have a about 12,000 Chase credit card points that I was going to use for a free stay. So I'll just have to see what kind of happens this week, but we will keep you posted. Okay, friends, so that is the end of our week 1 of our no spend / pantry cooking challenge. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed coming along with our family and seeing everything we made this week. You saw that meals don't have to be complicated. It can be super simple, and just use what you have at home. So continue to watch every week for a new video showing you what we've made, things that we've done to not spend money, and ways that we are kind of embracing this challenge. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Please put down there that you are in this challenge with us or that you tried it, and we just love to hear some feedback from you. So thanks for watching, friends, and look forward to another video next week. Bye.